Hello, kia ora, g'day. I'm Philip Duncan from Weather Watch TV on YouTube with your 7-day Australia-only forecast. And we're taking a closer look at the rainfall. Interestingly, in this video, there's not a lot to talk about and yet a lot going on. I think you'll kind of understand why in a moment. It's kind of a messy forecast, but that's also producing some areas of rain in areas that need it the most over the next week or so. So this is some good news. We'll try and break it down for you and make sense of it all. So here we are with Thursday's air pressure map. Big high pressure down here around Western Australia and the Great Australian Bight. Further to the north, lower air pressure in the darker colours, and that's trying to spin this low pressure zone around Western Australia. And we've got convergence over here around Queensland, where you've got the easterlies or northeasterlies coming off the coast, over the hills, and that's merging with a southerly. And so locally, that's creating some big downpours across the last day or so, overnight and into this morning. And high pressure also exiting New South Wales. So Thursday into the afternoon, you can see that big high here. We don't normally show you the rain maps for the day we record this on, but because we're doing this earlier today, we might as well show you. And you can see the downpours building up along that part of Queensland. Now, also keep in mind, some of that rain shows what fell overnight and into this morning, but still some heavy falls just north of Brisbane, maybe 50 or 60 millimetres for some areas there. But it is fairly isolated to that part. You know, you go a little bit further southwards or northwards, not seeing those sorts of totals, and you see these kind of blobs of rain along the Queensland coastline, inland, around the hills, around the ranges and the plateaus, and that's part of the reason why you're getting some rain up there, more so than you are directly on the coastline, except for that part around Brisbane. And then on the other side, that low pressure around Western Australia trying to form, not too successfully doing it, but between the lower air pressure around northern parts of Western Australia and the high pressure directly to your south, bit of a squash zone in the middle there. So that's squeezing through those easterlies. They become blustery and exposed areas, and that's also helping to create some of these downpours that are mostly inland. It is dry for almost everywhere else, but the windy westerlies around Tasmania, they carry on with west coast rain. To Friday, the west to southwesterlies carry on for Tassie. Some heavy showers on the western side there, nothing too major though, but it will certainly be a little bit cooler if you live in Hobart. Further northwards, bit of a windy southeasterly coming through Victoria, South Australia, and then that goes through Western Australia along with that line of wet weather between the low pressure to the north and the high pressure to the south. So windier weather carries on for you. Up around Queensland, the showers are still around, but perhaps not quite as intense as we go through into Friday from where they've been. This map here shows you 24 hours of rainfall. So the blue areas, not a huge amount, shows you a risk of some showers across the day. Now into the weekend. So the line of convergence around Western Australia stays in that central area. It moves further eastwards towards South Australia, but if you're in Esperance, it's a bit borderline whether or not you'll get the rain you want, but maybe better totals further to the northeast of you. On the eastern side of Australia, here on Saturday, you've got that cooler change that was around Tasmania, jumping up and around the high and pushing into New South Wales. So for Bathurst fans, this makes it a little interesting this weekend because you're going to be seeing rain or showers along the east here, not necessarily widespread, but hit and miss areas of rain and downpours, and they might drift over towards the racecourse as you go through the day. Further into the north, you got showers carrying on for Queensland and 1 or 2 showers for the Northern Territory, but not very much. On Sunday, those showers around Darwin increase a bit more, and you also notice these showers through the very western side of Queensland starting to bubble up there. But again, mostly not much, but some of you might get 10 or 15 in some of these sort of heavier falls that might pop up. Now at the other end, South Australia, you've got some showers forming thanks to some low pressure nearby. So a few more showers will be coming through for you, and also around the border between Queensland and New South Wales, some more showers. So you're starting to see what I mean by there's not a lot really happening, but we've got things going on pretty much in every part of the country. So it's not completely settled, it's not stormy either, but it's interesting because we've got things to actually track. And here on Monday, these downpours, remember this is a 24-hour map, so some of these downpours may also form on Sunday evening as Bathurst is ending. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with Bathurst. I don't care about much sport in the world, but for some reason since a kid I've always enjoyed it. We've got some downpours forming around parts of New South Wales, mostly into the northern side, but you can see that front here kind of connected to a low that is forming off the coast of New South Wales. Easterlies blowing through Victoria, got showers there, some rain, especially around the mountains and ranges to the east. And more of those showers through Queensland and the Northern Territory and central parts of Australia, northern part of South Australia, getting those downpours. Now to Tuesday, we've got an east coast low, driving in a bit of wet weather around Victoria, New South Wales, potentially even into Canberra and the ACT. More showers along the eastern half of New South Wales. Nothing huge in there by the looks of it for the most part, but some of you in the north and around Queensland may get some heavier falls, taking you up to 15 or 20 millimetres if you're lucky enough to get that for those who want it. For those who don't want it, showers carry on for the eastern side of New South Wales and for much of coastal Queensland, not a change there. And these showers forming through the interior, where all the states kind of join up, we are seeing more of those showers forming as we go through into Tuesday of next week. And by Wednesday of next week, low pressure forms over South Australia, and that's going to see more instability, more areas of rain and showers forming. There's low pressure to the south of Australia as well. So there isn't some big magical high pressure system that's going to come along and push it all away. Instead, this low pressure zone could grow next week, and that could be quite interesting. So we see that low in the Tasman sort of moving off to New Zealand, a few more showers still in the same spot, still in that sort of upper New South Wales, lower Queensland area, spilling over around the border there. And over in Western Australia, I haven't talked much about you if you're living around Perth, I'm sorry, but you've got southwesterlies there, high pressure just off the screen over the Indian Ocean, southwesterlies coming through for you, and more showers on Wednesday around Darwin. Now, I don't normally show you 8 days of maps, but today I wanted to show you this one extra map, taking us a full week from when we recorded this, because I wanted to show you this big low. If you live in Victoria or South Australia and you really need some rain, and through the outback of New South Wales, this is a map that you maybe haven't seen for a while. Now, I don't want to lock it in so far out. It's a week since we recorded this, when this will be happening. So it may not look like that when it gets round to it. But you get the idea. There is a bit of change happening, and hopefully, fingers crossed, there are many people that need rain around southern and southeastern parts of Australia. This map for next Thursday, a week away from now, shows this large pool of low pressure, and that may well produce some rain that you really need as we go into spring. Not everybody wants rain at this time of the year, some prefer it later, but we do have wet weather by the looks of it coming through next week with strong to severe gale northerlies as well. But like I say, can't lock it in this far out, but keep an eye on it. So here is the 7-day rainfall map. You can certainly see the convergence here around Queensland and New South Wales, but this doesn't capture that next Thursday low. I purposely didn't want to capture it because it's not really locked in this far out. But what you are seeing is leading up to it. South Australia really getting some better rainfall totals in there. Some areas 40 or 50 millimetres possible just north of Adelaide. And Victoria not quite as much, obviously, because it doesn't show that extra day of rain. But there's a good chance we're going to see some good rainfall totals for those that need it. And for those who are sick of it around the Sunshine Coast, you may not be too happy seeing that blob of rain there showing 60, 70, maybe even 80 millimetres of rain coming. And also up in the Northern Territory, finally seeing a bit of rain forming for you as well. So speaking of the Northern Territory, today's flights in place of the day, Humpty Doo. What a great name. Now I noticed this because I was flying into Darwin. So Darwin is over here in the distance. And so this is about 40 kilometres southeast of Darwin. It's not a very long flight coming in here with the 747 to land there. And you go over all these places that look just like Humpty Doo. Lots of bush, and you see houses and roads all throughout it. 4,000 people or so living here in Humpty Doo. Look at the temperatures, and I've got to say, today's temperature maximum today and tomorrow, you're around that 42, 43 degree mark, so pretty hot, humid weather, mostly dry, but then you've got that wet weather risks going into next week, and you might even get some showers before then as well. So this is a little bit different today. Humpty Doo, what a cool name, and just outside of Darwin. And that is all from me. Have a great weekend. We will see you again next week with our next Australian forecast.